Jamie Foxx is one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. You can hear him talking here. He became a hit the very first time one of his most memorable characters appeared on the Fox TV show In Living Color. Everybody loved his portrayal of Wanda, the ugly girl who's always out to get a man. Jamie also starred in his own HBO special, and he's a favorite at the Black Comedy Explosion. But what you might not know is that Jamie is a talented singer and musician, and he joins me now to talk about his debut album and his comedy career. And thank you so much for being with me this morning.
Thank you.
You know, we have to mention Wanda, the ugly girl, because absolutely everybody just looks at her and just, I mean, from the time she first came on the screen, she was such a big hit. How did you create Wanda?
Just in my stand-up.
Really?
Doing my stand-up.
But I mean, was there something, you obviously, I think, as a comedian are an observer of life. So.
As a comedian, what you do is this, you look at, you know, everybody in the world, and you like in especially black comedy, you do characters. So like I had a character about a girl who wasn't pleasant looking, and I had a character about an old man, you know, this, you know, this. And then you have a character like this one character called Carl the Tooth Williams, who's a boxer with all his teeth out. But the thing, just to give you the brief thing about Wanda to you know, get that out of the way, by doing that character, it allowed me to kind of set myself on the show, because the show was a trial. It was like only 6 weeks, I think, I had to prove myself. So by doing that character, it allowed people to kind of find out, you know, who Jamie Foxx was, you know, because it kind of went the reverse way. They found out who the character was, then, you know, went on to...
Now, one thing I have to ask you, when you are Wanda, your lip is sort of turned. Do you stick it up there with some kind of paste or something? How do you keep it up there? Your lip is sort of turned inside out. What do you do? How do you do that?
Just do it.
You don't use anything to stick it up there? And you can just do that, huh?
Yeah.
You want to do it just now? Just let's see the Wanda lip.
So with the album,
we're getting to the album. We're getting to the album. Now, we're getting to the singing, but let's talk just one more question about comedy. When did you first realize that you were interested in being a comedian or funny enough to be a comedian? Because I understand that music was actually your first love.
Well, see, the thing about it is that with me, music and comedy and all that was kind of pushed together. When I was a kid, you know, as growing up around the kids I grew up around, we were all funny, we all sung, we all did music because my grandmother...
You're in a big family? You're from a big family?
No, not... I was the only child, but like the people in my community, because my grandmother ran a nursery school. So like, as far as like being a comedian in school, you know, I was already ahead of everybody. By the time I was in the 2nd grade, I was on like a 6th grade level, because my mother was a teacher. So I had a lot of free time on my hands. So, you know, I would always make jokes or do impersonations and stuff like that. So in school, early on, the teacher would give me time at the end of class, like on a Friday or something like that, to do, you know, some comedy.
To entertain
to entertain, as opposed to getting in trouble, you know, because you get in trouble.
You
know, I was getting tired of getting in trouble.
Now, when did you decide, though, you were going to take that, what apparently was sort of a natural talent for humor, onto the stage?
Well, as a matter of fact, when I went to college, I was in college in San Diego, moved up to L.A., and I was trying to get my music going, but I didn't have enough money to get any equipment, so I couldn't make a sound. You know, I meet a record company guy and say, well, you know, the song go like, but, you know, it didn't make any sense because he didn't have a tape to play. So I went up to the Comedy Store one night in Los Angeles, and I was watching all the comedians. I said, yo, I could do this. So I went up and did all my favorite impersonations, you know, like the Cosby, because the people like the Jell-O pudding and all, you know, Mike Tyson, way back in the champion of the world. You know.
Yes, you do a very good Mike Tyson.
So you know, it just went up and it happened like that, and then the next thing you know, the show happened, and then everything else kind of followed, you know, after that.
Now, because you became so known for the comedy in the public's mind, when you said, okay, now I'm going to do what was the first love, the music, did they think, okay, this is going to be a weird Al Yankovic kind of album where it's going to be something funny? No. Or was it hard to get them to accept you as a romantic singer?
No, not at all. The reason being is because what you do is you introduce it. You don't do the comedy and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm singing. What I did, like, my whole plan was do the comedy, however you do the comedy, get it out there, get the name for yourself, then get the HBO special, which was Jamie Foxx coming straight from the foxhole. Now you can do anything you want to because now you control, you know, what's going on. So I did like 50 minutes of comedy. Then I took it into the music like real smooth. Like I said, because if you got a young man like me, you know, doing comedy and everything, then he can sit at the piano and say, I need to have you next to me. And then just by the sound of that, people were like, oh, they were pleasantly surprised. So I introduced it on the Foxhole thing. Then everybody was like, yo, you should do an album.
Okay, let's hear a little bit of it. I think we have some so we can actually hear Jamie singing. And you said that you were actually in the original Batcave from the old Batman TV show.
We were trying to find a place that was like real mysterious and spooky. Like, and they said, well, why don't you go do it in the Batcave?
I didn't know it still existed.
Yeah, it still exists. It's like, actually, it's like a mountain, and then it's like all these different catacombs and like different like caves and stuff. Bats.
Now I have to ask you another comedy question though, but about the controversy that's going on now about some of the black comedians. Martin has come under attack, and some of the other black comedians as being too vulgar. Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
My whole thing is this, is that when a person is really out there, really high profile and doing good, you have to expect the people are going to try to like knock you down. Martin is a very talented young man. He didn't do anything worse than Richard Pryor, or say anything worse than Richard Pryor, or say anything worse than Eddie Murphy. I'm not for sure what the inside deal is on that, but what I say to like black entertainers, you know, that are high profile, because I am black, you just have to watch what you do a little bit more than the average person, because of the fact that you're going to be looked at more. So when you start thinking about your act, you know, I'm not saying to censor your act or anything like that, but just think about what it's about, and if it's vulgar or whatever, then you have to understand that people are going to look at it as vulgarity. Like, you know, they have Def Jam, but not everybody is vulgar. You know,
you don't do that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you know, you have different flavors of it.
In different venues.
Yeah, in different venues. I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm doing a club, then I do the club stuff. Or if I'm doing TV, then I do the TV stuff.
And speaking of TV and Living Color, we heard last week is no more.
Yeah, that's true.
So are you going to miss that? You won't get to do Wanda anymore and some of those other characters?
No, I don't miss Wanda at all. You know, because it's
we'll
like,
miss Wanda. She wanted to rock our world.
The reason being is because, like, you know, it was cool for the beginning, but you know, who wants to stay in, you know, pumps and dresses?
Right. Those high heels can pinch, can't they?
That's not really for me. And plus, you know what was a bad experience? When En Vogue was there. We did this thing with En Vogue, and here are these three beautiful ladies, and, you know, I can't even talk to them because I got a dress on. So I'm putting the dress away, putting the pumps away, letting this music pump.
Wanda has retired.
Yeah.
I hope she'll surface just occasionally sometime. We'll see
Can't do that.
All right. Well, we're happy to hear the singing, and thanks for being with me this morning.
So much.
And we enjoyed talking.
Thursday, are cartoons turning Maggie into a monster?
Keep her away from me, Marge. She's got that crazy look in her eyes again.
Find out on The Simpsons. Then,
it's the first day of school, and all eyes are on the new girl in town.
Dylan, okay.
Emily Valentine.
She may look innocent, but things aren't always as they seem.
So I like guys. So guys like me, what's wrong with that? There's a name for a girl like that.
90210, Thursday at 9 on Channel 2.